Now Yisrael had said to Avram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Avram departed as Yisrael had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Avram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Avram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran. And they departed to go to the land of Canaan. So they came to the land of Canaan. Avram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh, and the Canaanites were then in the land. Then Yisrael appeared to Avram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." And there he built an altar to Yisrael, who had appeared to him. And he moved from there to the mountain east of Beit El, and he pitched his tent with Beit El on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to Yisrael and called on the name of Yah. So Avram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Now there was a famine in the land, and Avram went down to Mitzrayim to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass, when he was close to entering Mitzrayim, that he said to Sarai his wife, "Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance. Therefore it will happen, when the Egyptians see you, that they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please, say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you." So it was, when Avram came into Mitzrayim, that the Egyptians saw the woman, that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh also saw her, and commended her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. He treated Avram well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys and camels. But Yisrael plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Avram's wife. And Pharaoh called Avram and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go your way." So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. Then Avram went up from Mitzrayim, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot went with him to the south. Avram was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold, and he went on his journey from the south as far as Beit El, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Beit El and Ai, to the place of the altar which he had made there at first. And there Avram called on the name of Yah. Lot also, who went with Avram, had flocks and herds and tents. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Avram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwelt in the land. So Avram said to Lot, "Please, let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Please, separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right, or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left." And Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before Yisrael destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of Yah, like the land of Mitzrayim as you go toward Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated from each other. Avram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against Yisrael. And Yehova said to Avram, after Lot had separated from him, "Lift up your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, I give to you and your descendants forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants also could be numbered. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you." Then Avram moved his tent, and went and dwelt by the oaks of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and built there an altar to Yah. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that they made war with Bela, king of Sodom, and with Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zoar. All these joined together in the valley of Siddim, that is, the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and attacked the Rephaim and Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim and Ham, the Emim and Shaveh Kiryathaim, and the Horites in the mountain of Seir, as far as El Paran, which is by the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and attacked all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazazon Tamar. And the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zoar, went out and joined together in battle in the valley of Siddim against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of nations, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of asphalt pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled. Some fell there, and the remainder fled to the mountains. Then they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their provisions, and went their way. They also took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Then one who had escaped came and told Avram the Ivri, for he dwelt by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and they were allies with Avram. Now when Avram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants who were born in his own house, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. He divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants attacked them and pursued them as far as Hobah, which is north of Damascus. So he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shaveh, that is, the king's valley, after his return from the defeat of Kedorlaomer and the kings who were with him. Then Melchizedek, king of Shalem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of El Elyon, and he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Avram of El Elyon, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be El Elyon, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." And he gave him a tithe of all. Now the king of Sodom said to Avram, "Give me the persons and take the goods for yourself." But Avram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to Yehwa, El Elyon, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will take nothing, from a thread to a sandal strap, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Avram rich, except only with the young men of Eden, and the portion of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol and Mamre. Let them take their portion. After these things, the word of Yahweh came to Avram in a vision, saying, Do not be afraid, Avram. I am your shield, your exceedingly great reward. But Avram said, Adonai, Yahweh, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus? Then Avram said, Behold, to me you have given no seed. Indeed, one born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of Yahweh came to him, saying, This one shall not be your heir, but one who will come from your own body shall be your heir. Then he brought him outside and said, Look now toward heaven, and count the stars if you are able to number them. And he said to him, So shall your descendants be. And he believed in Yahweh, and he accounted it to him for righteousness. Then he said to him, I am Yahweh, who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Adonai Yahweh, how shall I know that I will inherit it? So he said to him, Bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Then he brought all these to him and cut them in two, down the middle, and placed each piece opposite the other. But he did not cut the birds in two. And when the vultures came down on the carcasses, Avram drove them away. Now when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Avram, and behold, horror and great darkness fell upon him. Then he said to Avram, Know certainly that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and will serve them, and they will afflict them 400 years. And also the nation whom they serve, I will judge. Afterward they shall come out with great possessions. Now as for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried at a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall return here, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. And it came to pass, when the sun went down and it was dark, that behold, there appeared a smoking oven, and a burning torch that passed between those pieces. On the same day, Yahweh made a covenant with Avram, saying, To your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. Now Sarai, Avram's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Avram, See now, Yahweh has restrained me from bearing children. Please go into my maid. Perhaps I shall obtain children by her. And Avram heeded the voice of Sarai. Then Sarai, Avram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband Avram to be his wife, after Avram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Avram, My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. May Yah judge between you and me. So Avram said to Sarai, Indeed, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please. And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Now the angel of Yah found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from and where are you going? She said, I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai. The angel of Yah said to her, return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. Then the angel of Yah said to her, I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude. And the angel of Yah said to her, behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Yishmael, because Yah has heard your affliction. He will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Then she called the name of Yehova who spoke to her, you are the El who sees. For she said, have I also here seen him who sees me? Therefore the well was called Be'er Lachai Roy. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Avram a son, and Avram named his son, whom Hagar bore, Yishmael. Avram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Yishmael to Avram. And when Avram was 99 years old, Yehova appeared to Avram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be thou perfect, and I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. And Avram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. No longer shall your name be called Avram, but your name shall be Avraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim to you and your descendants after you. Also, I give to you and your descendants after you the land in which you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. And Elohim said to Abraham, as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised, every male child in your generations, he who was born in your house or brought with money from any foreigner who is not your descendant. He who was born in your house and he who was bought with money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. Then Elohim said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, and I will bless her, and also give you a son by her. Then I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be from her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to Elohim, oh, that Yishmael might live before you. Then Elohim said, no, Sarai your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Yitzchak. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make a great nation of him. But my covenant I will establish with Yissaschar, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this set time next year." Then he finished talking with him, and Elohim went up from Avraham. So Avraham took Ishmael his son, all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, every male among the men of Avraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that very same day, as Elohim had said to him. Avraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. That very same day Avraham was circumcised, and his son Ishmael, and all the men of his house, born in the house or bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him.